Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Asra Fadila Octaviani from group 14. In this section, I will present about speech age with my friends. There is Aderani and Bintang. So we talk about speech age. Speech age, based on an English philosopher, Austin, point that speech age is a functional unit. This functional unit in communication. In speech age, we can distinguish three things what the based on what Austin mentioned. First, locution or the literal meaning. This is talking about meaning, what is said, and what the utterance about. The second one is elocution, is about what the speaker intend to speak to communicate to the address. And the last, perlocution is the effect that is produced by the utterance in the given context. Perlocution, for instance, is about what the address get from the speaker saying. For example, the sentence, the bar will be closed in 10 minutes. The locution of this sentence is the bar will be closed in 10 minutes. Then the elocution is a speaker informed to the customer if the bar's imminent closing and the speaker is arguing about the last order before the bar close. Then the perlocution is causing the customer believe the bar is going to close and they have to order the last drink if they want. And then there is maxim. Maxim is the communication guide by spoken rules. Maxim meant to be primarily descriptive in nature and describe how people communicate in natural situation. The rules are quantity, relevance, manner, and quality. Quantity is about the speaker has to give information as much as needed, not more or less. Just talking the important things, what the information is required. For example, someone asks you, how do I go from here to the library? So you just need to answer the way the person to get the library. You just need to answer keep walking. Just give that information. So because that's the information is required, you don't need to talk about or give nothing else. It's like how to get it to show the way there. And the second one is relevance. In relevance, you have to give the relevant information to the audience, talking based on the context, not all of the topic. For example, someone asks, do you want to get some coffee after this meeting? Then you answer, I have to take my mom to doctor. It seems you don't answer what the speaker question correctly, but actually this is the relevant information. It means you deny him and tell the reason exactly why you don't go with him. And the third about manner is about the speaker has to give information clearly, orderly, tell from the first until the last, just talking briefly and don't talk ambiguity. You have to avoid the using of words that hard to be understood. And the last one is quality. You have to say the true information. Don't say anything that you don't have. You can back up that and or don't say anything that's not on your field. For the next will be explained by Adarani. For the next, is yours.
Okay, I will explain the next material is about kinds of speech aids. Speech aids differ in their purpose, whether they deal with real or potential facts, prospective or retrospective. In the role of speaker or addresses in the specs, and of course, in facility conditions. There are 7 kinds of speech acts. The first one is assertive utterance. In the assertive function, speaker and writers use language to tell what they know or believe. Assertive language is concerned with facts. The purpose is to inform. For example, I vote for arrangements in the last elections. This is language concerned with knowledge, with cognitions. It deals with data, what exists or excites, what is happening or has happened or not. So, assertive utterances are either true or false, and generally they can be verified or falsified, not necessarily at the time of utterance or by those who heard them, but in a general sense, they are subject to empirical investigations. Direct assertive utterance start with I or we and assertive verb. For example, I say that I vote for Harrison's in the last elections. Reported assertive utterance also include assertive verbs. They include elegy, announce, agree, report, remind, predict, and protest. They are independent of time or aspect and are natural with respect to who is involved in what is reported. They are comments on the state of affairs. We may question whether they really constitute a class of utterance or class of verb which introduce informations. The next material is performative utterance. In speech acts that bring about the state of affairs, they name are called performative: bids, placings, firings, debtings, arrest, marrying, declaring, and ministerial. Performative utterances are valid if spoken by someone whose right to make them is accepted, and in circumstances which are accepted as appropriate. The verb include bet, declare, baptize, name, nominate, pronounce. Conditions for performative utterance are the authority of the speaker to make the utterance, that the appropriateness of time, place, and other circumstances, and the acceptance by the address or one others of this authority and appropriateness. Structure of predicative utterance: there is source, goal, and retrospective. The source of VB or predicatives is the subject I and we, while the goal is subject you. Then the retrospective, there are actor, and actor is the subject you and the predicates. The next material will be explained by Bintang.
Okay, I would like to explain the next material is expressive utterance. This is can show previous action, failure action give the result to the present. For example, I apologize for having disturbed you. Then there is expressive utterance structures that expressive predicate has source, goal, and retrospective. The source is the subject, I or we. While the goal is the subject, you, then there is retrospective, having actor and predicate. The actor is subject, I and we. And we can show the diagram And the next material, directive utterance. Directive utterance is the speaker tries to get the addresses to perform some acts. Then there are types of directive utterance. The first is command. Command is what the speaker wants the audience to or not to do in the authority. For example, the informal form of command is don't waste your time of that. And the second is request. Request is what the speaker wants the audience to or not to do, but not in the authority. For example, I appeal to you to help as much as you can. And the last is suggestion. Suggestion is giving speaker opinion to the audience. For example, we suggest you or you should pay more attention to what you're doing. And the next material is commissive utterance. Commissive utterance is this is coming to the speaker to a course of an action, such as promise, threats, and vows. Commissive utterance can make the speaker commit his or her own self to or not to the action in the future. For example, I promise to be on time. And commissive verbs are illustrated by agree, as, aver, refuse, swear, all with following infinitives. And the last is ethic utterance. Ethic utterance is to establish the connection, the society. For the example, we can see the sentence. The first is, how are you? Second, how are you doing? And next, I'm glad to meet you. And the last, so nice to see you again. There is just common sentence and not everyone means. To the sentence, people not recognize the information of that sentence. But this type is not as important than the other types. That's all from me.
So that's all our presentation for this week. If you have any question, you can ask in this forum, and if you want to add some information or some materials, you can add in this forum too. Sorry for all the mistakes that we have done, and thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.